In this video, I'm going to show you how to optimize and prepare your WordPress website for launch. This is part 3 of Craylor Academy, my series on building a WordPress website from start to finish. In parts 1 and 2, we covered how to build your WordPress website, and now I want to cover some important steps you need to take before launching your WordPress site. And really quick, I want to thank WP Engine for making this series possible. They're actually offering Craylor Academy viewers 20% off all plans with promo code CraylorMade20. Thanks to WP Engine for supporting the channel, and I'll share more about why WP Engine is so awesome later in the video. So in the last video, we covered building pages with WP Bakery, and now that you have all your pages almost ready to go on your website, I want to cover how to create a contact form so people can reach you. We're going to be using a plugin called Contact Form 7, which we should have already installed on our website. I've got the WordPress dashboard pulled up right here, and I'm going to go to Contact in the sidebar and Contact Forms. And we already have a default contact form that's generated when the plugin is installed. I'm just going to edit this one. And right here, this is our base contact form. Now, yes, technically there's a little bit of code going on here, but don't feel intimidated. It's actually really simple. We have a name field, the person's email, subject line, their message. I'm just going to tweak a couple things about this, and this is really a personal preference thing. You can play around with adding different fields, like if you wanted to add a telephone number field, you could click this, play around with these options, insert the tag. I'm not going to actually add any fields. In fact, I'm going to remove the subject line because I don't know how often I see a subject line on a contact form. That's a little bit strange, so I'm going to remove that. I'm also going to change this label that says your message optional. I think it's a little strange to have this field be optional because this is literally where someone's going to type their message on the contact form, so it should be required. I'm going to just backspace optional, and in order to make this field actually required to submit the form, I'm going to add an asterisk right here after text area. You'll see that's included on these other fields, and that just means this field has to be filled out in order for the form to be submitted. So everything is looking good on our contact form. Next, I'm going to go over to this mail tab, and this is where we may want to modify some settings. You're going to want to make sure that the from email is an email that you're familiar with. In this case, by default, it just puts WordPress@yourdomain.com. I'm probably going to change this to no reply at yourdomain.com. That's a personal preference thing, but I like to get automated emails from no reply. So that way I know, hey, wait a second, I'm not going to actually reply to this email. I need to reply to the person's email. Now, there's a section that has additional headers and it says reply to and your email. So when we get this automated email from the contact form plugin, we should be able to actually hit the reply button in our email app and it'll send it to the right place. But just in case, do be aware, make sure you're checking who the email came from, and when you see no reply, it's a good reminder to double check where your reply is being sent to when you hit that reply button. Now, just a couple other quick things. Since we took out the subject line, I'm going to take out the reference of it here. I'll just say site title, new contact form submission, and I'm also going to remove subject from here. So if you're following along, what this is going to look like is when someone fills out your contact form, you're going to get an email. It's going to have this subject line. It's going to say from John. It's going to have John's email right here, message body, and it's going to have what John typed. So everything looks good to go. This is very straightforward to set up. I'm just going to save the changes with the save button down here. Now we need to embed the contact form on our desired page. I'm going to go over to pages and I'm going to select the page that we built from scratch in the last video. I'll edit this, and there's a super simple way to embed contact forms with WP Bakery. I am going to create a new row, and I'm going to create an inner row as well. And then within the inner row, I'm going to go up to search and type contact form 7, select the element, And then we'll get to pick from a list of contact forms. Since we only have one and we edited the default one, our job is easy. It's contact form 1. I'll save these changes, preview the page, and as you can see, we have a fully functional contact form ready to be filled out and ready for people to submit. Now that we've finished our contact form, I want to take a second to address spam. No, not that kind of spam. I'm talking about unwanted messages, emails, and comments on your website. If you're new to WordPress, you likely haven't dealt with this issue yet, but I can guarantee you you're going to deal with this issue if you don't put something in place to prevent it at the start. So how do we address this? Well, there's no one perfect solution. There's a number of steps we can take based on the needs of your website to make sure that spam is at a minimum. The first thing would be to disable comments on your website if you don't need it. If your website is not a blog, then you don't really need there to be a comments section. But within WordPress, the comments section is enabled by default, and sometimes you might have a blog post or two for a news page, but you don't really need people to be commenting on those posts and contributing. Maybe you're simply using the blog feature to get the word out on stuff, and you don't need people to join any sort of conversation. So I'm going to show you how to disable comments on WordPress. First, we can start by disabling the comments section on all new posts. To do this, go over to Settings and Discussion, and uncheck where it says Allow people to submit comments on new posts, and then scroll down and make sure to save your changes. It's important to note that comments sections may still be enabled on older posts. Unchecking this box simply prevents the comments section on new posts. So to address any old posts you may have, go over to Posts and All Posts. And there's a couple ways you can do this. You can edit each post individually and disable comments within the post. Or if you're trying to just disable comments on every WordPress post on your website, just check this box and make sure to check all your posts. Under Bulk Actions, go to Edit, click Apply. And then when this comes up, we're just going to change this comments dropdown to Do Not Allow and click Update. And that way comments are disabled across your entire website. But what if you want comments enabled on your website? Is there anything you can do to protect against spam? Yes, there's actually a free plugin called Akismet, and I would highly recommend trying it out. It helps reduce spam comments and filter comments as they're submitted. I've used it on websites in the past and seen great success with it. And finally, for Contact Form 7, I'd recommend using Google's reCAPTCHA system to prevent spam emails from coming through. So after looking up the Google reCAPTCHA console and creating my website, I'm going to go get the 2 site keys that Google gives us. I'll click the settings icon and go to reCAPTCHA keys. And if you're creating your site for the first time within the console, it'll give you these keys right away, but I've already created my site. I'm just going to get my keys after the fact. It's really easy to get your keys either way. I'm going to copy the site key right here, go over to my WordPress dashboard, and I'm going to go to Contact and Integrations. Once I'm here, I'll scroll down and do Setup Integration under reCAPTCHA. And I'll paste the site key first, go back to the console, copy the secret key, and then go paste that in here, and click Save Changes. Now reCAPTCHA is set up on our site, and to take a look at what this did, I will go to our page with the contact form, and you're going to notice something new. You're going to see this little reCAPTCHA icon in the bottom right corner on any page where you have a contact form. And the way this works is that Google is using an algorithm to detect malicious activity as people fill out forms. If you're just a normal human and you don't have malicious intent, chances are you're going to be able to submit the form without even realizing that there's any sort of spam filter, and you'll just move on with your life. But sometimes if Google is unsure if something's a robot, it might give the person that I'm not a robot checkbox we've all seen, or give them a CAPTCHA challenge to solve before they can press the submit button. But it's all algorithm based, so that's why we don't see the checkbox on our page all the time. Well, your WordPress site is finally built, but there's just a couple more things we need to do before pressing the launch button. There's no launch button.
There is no launch button.
Well, anyway, before you start advertising your site to everyone and considering it finished and done, there's a couple other things we need to do. And this is a big one. We need to tackle the topic of SEO, or search engine optimization. SEO has a big influence on where your website ranks on Google. You can actually influence whether it ranks well on the first page or is buried several pages down simply by how you optimize your website for search. And there's a free plugin that I love using to do exactly that. It's called Yoast SEO. I'm going to get started by installing and activating the plugin. And once Yoast is installed, first I want to address this obvious big red box up here that says huge SEO issue. You're blocking access to robots. So I'm going to go to reader settings as it recommends. And we definitely need to uncheck this box that says discourage search engines from indexing this site. That's sometimes enabled by default in WordPress because you probably don't want your site ranking on Google while it's under development. But we're done with development. We're ready for the world to see our site. So first things first, we definitely want to uncheck that box. Now I'm going to go back over to Yoast SEO and I'll go to General. And I want to start working through the first time configuration wizard. This is super easy, not intimidating at all. I'll let it run the data optimization and we can continue while it's doing that. So we just want to fill out all of these details. We have organization name. You'll want to put your company name. If you're a company, if you're a person, put that. But technically, I think they use the term organization even for companies. I'm going to leave this default. I'll just use the logo that we uploaded to our header earlier. Save and continue. Now we have social profiles, and you want to just put URLs to the social media accounts associated with this website. So if this is a company website, put your company social media. If this is a personal blog, you can put your social media. But this is basically helping Google associate your website with social profiles, and they use all that data to decide how they're going to rank you in search. All right, I'm going to save and continue. And then we have these personal preferences. I'm just going to say, no, don't track my site data. I'm glad that's selected by default. I don't want to sign up for the newsletter. Save and continue. Pretty straightforward. And the configuration is finished. Now we can take full advantage of Yoast SEO by optimizing individual pages. And I'm going to give you a really quick crash course on how SEO works with WordPress. Navigate over to your pages, and I'm just going to use our home page for this example. So we're going to edit this, and we're going to scroll down way past all our WP Bakery stuff. We don't need to do anything in there. So keep scrolling until you see Yoast SEO. Now there's 3 features of Yoast SEO I want to point out. Let's start with this section right here, the Google preview. This is one of the things I love most about this plugin. We can actually change exactly how our website is going to appear on Google search. So you can see we're able to preview how our site's going to look on both mobile and desktop. And we can change what every page says for both the title and description. So you may want to optimize this and actually give it a description like, this is quality architecture. You know, this is probably not a good example on writing SEO or focus keywords or anything like that. I just want to demo that you can change this description. There's other content you can watch on strategies of what you might want to say, what strategies you want to do in your writing in order to rank better on Google. But from a technical perspective, this is where you can change that information. You can do the same here with your title. Now, these are all variables: title, page, separator, site name. So I can backspace this variable if I want and enter plain text and decide exactly what it's going to say. Or I can choose to just use the variable that was there. And in most cases for the title, I'm going to leave that alone and just be changing my description. Now there's 2 more features of Yoast SEO I want to point out, and that's the SEO analysis tool down here. And this is going to scan our page for all sorts of different things that help a page to rank higher on Google. So we can see statuses for all these SEO items ranging from red, which is something that needs attention, to orange, which is something we can improve, to green, which is something we've done a good job in. So the SEO analysis tool is highly valuable. And here's the thing I love about Yoast. For any of these aspects, if you ever have questions, you can just click on the link and it's going to give you a great explainer of what that actually means. And you can really learn a lot about SEO just referring to the free resources that the Yoast plugin provides. And the final feature of Yoast SEO I want to point out is this readability tab. This is very similar to the SEO analysis, but this applies a lot more with blog posts. It's definitely relevant on pages as well, but this is basically going to make sure that your copy is easy for the reader to digest. Because believe it or not, Google actually does analyze this, and if your page uses a lot of big and complex words and is difficult to read and follow, Google's actually not going to rank that as high. Google rewards simple, easy to read pages, and the readability score is going to help you write simpler sentences. So it's another highly valuable tool. Again, you can click these hyperlinks if you ever have questions and learn more about each of these aspects. Now that we've optimized our website for search, the next thing I want to take care of is handling how WordPress is going to deliver email. You might be saying, what email? What do you mean, Christian? Well, there's actually a lot of cases where WordPress is going to be sending emails to you or other users of your site. There's just one problem here. By default, WordPress is going to use your web host server to send email, and web hosts aren't exactly experts in email deliverability. I'm not going to get into specific details on why this is the case, but let's just say if you don't address this issue, there's a high chance that important emails sent by WordPress are going to end up in your spam folder, or worse, not being delivered at all. So to ensure you never miss a critical email, the solution is to use a dedicated email service. What we're going to do is actually reroute our emails through a dedicated email sender using a free WordPress plugin. I'm going to go over to plugins and add a new plugin, and I'm going to search for WP Mail SMTP. And essentially what this plugin is doing is just rerouting the mail sent by WordPress through the SMTP protocol. And we can connect it to a number of different providers. The setup wizard is actually going to give us some options for that. I like Sendinblue because it's free and it gets the job done well. It's reliable. So I'm going to select Sendinblue and save and continue. So next, I'm just going to click Get Started with Sendinblue. And this is when you're going to want to create a free account. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. And in the dashboard, I'm going to go over to my profile here and senders and IPs. Make sure that you first have added your domain name under the domains tab. I've already added mine. Don't forget to add the DNS records when it prompts you to do so. Now, after you add your domain, you can go over to senders. And this is where we have to pick an email address for our WordPress site to send email from. Earlier in the contact form, I talked about how I like to have my mail send from noreply@mydomain.com. So this is a personal preference thing, but I've chosen to have my email be noreply@crayloracademy.com. And that's where all my automated emails are going to come from when WordPress sends them. So next, we're going to go back to the account dropdown and go to SMTP and API. Now I'm going to create a new API key and just put the name of your site and click generate. And now we can copy the API key. Make sure it's definitely copied and you have it saved, because once it displays it and you click OK, you cannot get this API key again. So I've got it copied. I'm going to go back over to WordPress and just paste it on the API key field. And then for sending domain, this is going to be our domain. And for from name, this can be whatever you want. I'll just leave it the name of our website. And then for from email, this does need to match what you created in Sendinblue. So for me, this is going to be noreply@crayloracademytutorial.com. And I'll click save and continue. Okay, we're just going to leave all of the free features enabled and continue. I don't want to sign up for their email list. I'm going to skip this step. and we're going to be using the free version, so I'm going to skip this step as well. Now it's checking our configuration and looks like it's all set up successfully. One thing I like to do is send a test email just to make sure that everything's working properly. So you can always go in here, and I'll just send this to my main email address. Click send email, and it's going to give us a result, and it says success. Your email was delivered. And I just took a look at my inbox and the email showed up. Another thing I want to do before launching our website is make sure we set up analytics. We want to be able to track how many page views we're getting, how long people are spending on pages, and what other pages they're clicking before leaving the website. We can get all of this detailed information using Google Analytics, which is absolutely free to set up. I'm in the Google Analytics dashboard, and I've already set up a property. If you don't know how to do this, you can find tutorials online. It's very straightforward, but once you have your property created, you're going to click View Tag Instructions, and you can click Install Manually. Essentially, what we need is this little code here that Google provides for analytics. I'm going to copy this, go back over to WordPress, and go to our salient settings. And under general settings, I'm going to go to CSS/script related and scroll down, and in the custom JS code head box, go ahead and paste that script, click Save Changes. And now in the Google Analytics dashboard, we can see your website's data collection is active. It will take some time for data to start showing up, maybe about 24 hours, but then you'll start to see a lot of detailed information that can be really helpful for you to tweak your website and make improvements in the future. Next, I want to cover updates. How do you keep your WordPress version, plugins, and theme up to date? It's really simple. In the WordPress dashboard, you can go up to this little icon here, and that indicates that we have 3 updates that are waiting. And we currently have the latest version of WordPress. If there is an update to WordPress itself, it will show right here with an update button. Remember to always take a backup before updating WordPress. And it's not a bad idea before doing any sort of update, actually, but I've already got a recent backup. So if you have any plugins that need to be updated, that will show up right here. And if you have themes, some themes are going to show updates right here. These are typically going to be default WordPress themes or any other themes that you've activated from within the WordPress themes section. So if you've gone to add a theme and maybe you haven't uploaded a theme, but you've just picked from this list, updates for those themes are going to show up in the update screen here. But what about Salient? Salient is not actually going to show right here when there's an update available. That's because we got the theme through ThemeForest. So we actually need to keep an eye on Salient for when there's a new update available. The developer will usually send an email with the new version number and the change log. I happen to know there's actually been a major update released for Salient since I started this series, so this is a perfect example of how to update the theme. What you're going to do is go over to Appearance and Themes and click Add New and Upload Theme. It's basically exactly what we did when we first installed Salient. So I'm going to click Choose File, and I've already got the installable file right here. I've double checked and made sure that there's nothing else in the zip file like I showed you how to do in part 1 of the series. So this is the current update. I'll click Open and Install Now. And here we can see it says this theme is already installed. We have the old version and the new version. And I'll say replace active with updated version. And I went over to our Salient page just to confirm that we're now on version 15. We can access all the new features and bug fixes that have been added. One thing that can make WordPress updates easier is WP Engine's Smart Plugin Manager feature. I've got my WP Engine dashboard up here, and I'll go over to Tools and Smart Plugin Manager. This is an optional feature that you can add to your plan, and I'm just going to click into the production environment. And basically what the Smart Plugin Manager does is check our site every day, and it's going to update any plugins that are out of date automatically. and it's going to make sure that our site is functional. So if a plugin update were to break our site, which sometimes does happen, Smart Plugin Manager would recognize that and automatically roll back to right before it had just made the update. Then it'll send you an email alert and let you know that you have to do something to make your site compatible with the plugin update. It is important to note that Smart Plugin Manager is not able to check Salient for updates, and we still have to do that manually like how I just showed you. Now at this point, we've made a lot of changes to our WordPress website, and sometimes as you're making a lot of edits, things can go wrong and your WordPress website just breaks. There are times when you need to restore a backup, and thankfully with WP Engine, it takes automatic daily backups, plus we can choose to manually create backups as we're working, and I wanted to show you how to restore a backup if anything ever were to go wrong. I've got the WP Engine dashboard up, and I'm gonna go into my production environment as that's what I've been editing, and I'm gonna go to backup points. I actually just did create a manual backup as of 4 minutes ago with the latest site. And if I want to restore that backup, I can make sure that's selected, click restore, I'll enter an email address to get a notification, and click restore production backup. This will take a couple minutes, but we'll get an email from WP Engine when the restore is finished. Now, sometimes when working with WordPress, you need help from your web host. You might have bugs or glitches come up, and being able to talk to someone at the web host can really make your life easier. WP Engine takes care of their customers and makes it easy to get help. They've actually hooked all of you up with 20% off their plans using promo code CraylorMade20, and are the sponsor of this series. I really like what WP Engine is doing. They're some of the best WordPress hosting I've ever used, and a big reason behind that is that they offer really simple customer support. Anywhere in the WP Engine dashboard when you need help, you can always click this little chat button in the bottom right corner, and you can start a conversation with the WP Engine virtual assistant. If the assistant's ever not able to answer your questions, you can chat with a live agent 24/7 and get answers to your questions. Now, not every issue with WordPress is going to be something your web host needs to resolve. If you're having an issue with Salient or the page builder or something along those lines, you can reach out to the Salient developers for help, but before you do that, definitely make sure you take advantage of the Salient theme documentation. On this site, you can see all sorts of help articles and get instructions on building your website. It's a great resource to refer to just to make sure you're clear on how everything works. Now, if you definitely need to reach out to Salient for support, you can go to their support system and submit a ticket. It is going to require your purchase code from Envato. You can try clicking verify your purchase and logging in, but in my experience, this tends to not work a lot of the times on many WordPress themes I've done this on. So I would actually just download all the files associated with Salient from ThemeForest, copy your purchase code, and paste it in this field. Then you can proceed with describing the problem that you're having and submit your ticket. And Salient's developer support is very responsive. They'll be able to help you out and solve the issue. And if you still need help with WordPress, you can always reach out on my free Discord server at craylor.co/discord. Me or someone from my community would be more than happy to answer your questions. And if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one call with me to have me review your site or answer your questions, you can do that over at craylor.academy. So that's optimizing your site and preparing it for launch. We've officially done it. Over the past 3 videos, we've learned how to build a WordPress website with Salient from start to finish, and I can't wait to see all the wonderful sites that you create. Be sure to go to my Discord server at craylor.co/discord and drop your website URL in the chat. I'd love to take a look and see what everyone has come up with. And huge thanks again to WP Engine for sponsoring this series. Remember that you can get 20% off all WP Engine plans using promo code CraylorMade20. And if you're interested in taking your site's branding to the next level, the best way you can do this is by creating a custom email, something like yourname@yourdomain.com. If you want to know the best place to get custom email hosting, check out my video right here.